right, class. Today, we are deconstructing one of the most pivotal intellectual frameworks of the modern era, Marxism. We will follow a clear path to understand not just what it is, but how it came to be and why it remains so contentious. To understand Marxism as a theory, we first need to understand Karl Marx himself and the world in which he lived. Karl Marx, born in 1818, was a German philosopher, economist, historian, political theorist, and revolutionary. He was well trained in German philosophy, but soon turned toward radical journalism, challenging the politics and economics of his time. Most of his adult life was spent in exile in London, where he lived in poverty, constantly writing and refining his ideas. A key figure in his life was Friedrich Engels, a German capitalist who managed a factory in Manchester. Engels not only provided financial support to Marx, but also became his intellectual partner, co-authoring and expanding many of the core ideas of Marxism. Marx's theories did not arise in isolation. He was responding to the tremendous changes of the Industrial Revolution that swept across Europe in the mid-19th century. What he observed around him was striking. On the one hand, the immense and unprecedented wealth of the factory owners, the bourgeoisie. On the other hand, the crushing poverty of the workers, the proletariat. He witnessed child labour, exhausting 16-hour workdays, unsafe factories, and slums filled with disease and despair. This was the harsh underside of industrial capitalism. Now that we know who Marx was and what shaped him, let's go into the main parts of his theory. Marx wanted to explain not just how society worked, but also why it changed over time and where it was heading. The first part is called historical materialism. This was Marx's big idea. Unlike other thinkers who said history was driven by kings, great leaders, or religion, Marx argued that history is shaped mainly by material and economic conditions. At the bottom of every society is what he called the economic base. This means the tools, land, and factories that make up the means of production, and the social relationships that come with them, such as the owners and the workers, which he called the relations of production. Built on top of this base is the superstructure, things like politics, law, culture, religion, and even art. Marx said the superstructure is not independent, but actually reflects and supports the economic base. For him, history moves forward when the way people produce things, like factories during the Industrial Revolution, no longer fits with the existing social system, like feudal lords and peasants. This clash creates conflict, which leads to revolution and a new stage of history. That is why Marx believed history is a story of class struggle, the constant fight between those who own and those who work.